Hello and welcome to MOTH News. How are you doing, my friends? You're very welcome. And people who aren't my friends, you're very welcome to this MOTH News special. It's a year-end review, a wrap-up, a moment to breathe deeply and ask, what exactly did the government do this year? And more importantly, how many excuses did they hand in instead of homework? Today, we're marking their performance with a full school-style report card because, frankly, it's the only format that captures the combination of childish behavior, half-finished projects, and enthusiastic sometimes, but confused energy characterized 2025. Each section gets a grade, a real grade, a primary school grade. No curveballs, no spin, no glossy press releases, just the subject, the work submitted, and what Mammy thinks of it. And she's not happy. So sharpen your pencils, kids. This is the 2025 government report card. You don't have to sharpen your pencils. You don't have to do anything. Just watch. So let's start with health and social care. I mean, if you don't start there, then, then you're already on the back foot. And it's so important how we are towards each other and who we are to those who are most vulnerable reflects who we are and what we are as a society. 2025 was meant to be the year that the government finally grasped the nettle. Instead, they grabbed the nettle, panicked, dropped it, stepped on it, and blamed the nettle, and then called a press conference and released a statement. The headline performance: nursing homes and elder care still struggling massively. We covered here on MOTH multiple stories that exposed the cracks. Michelle Walsh, who was a guest on MOTH, told us about her mother's mistreatment in Belmont House Nursing Home, which was one of the nursing homes run by Amos, who you would have seen featured on Primetime. They're a French organisation, so it was one of their centres. We had Anne Gallagher on, whose husband Brendan died alone in Mullingar Hospital after being transferred from a nursing home with no allowance for a final visit. These stories were far from isolated, and there was many more that we spoke to here, and you can watch all of those interviews on our YouTube channel. They're all there. Have a look. I mean, each one more harrowing than the last. HICWA, who are the people in charge of care homes, and we say in charge. HICWA said politely, like a teacher who still believes in her worst student, that they need more powers just to hold corporate owners to account. What did the government do? Well, they nodded gravely, seriously, and then wandered off like a child who'd been asked to clean their room. Meanwhile, hospitals continued the familiar winter ritual, which we're witnessing right now: overflowing wards, visitor restrictions, staff shortages. And I should say, in all of this, we are in no way coming for the staff, because we know that there's not enough staff, they're not paid enough, and they have to deal with horrendous things on a daily basis. All of those staff members are either burnt out or heading for burnout. So I don't know how we're going to deal with that. And of course, we've got the annual statement. We are monitoring the situation closely. Monitoring is not a verb that saves lives. Monitoring is what your Fitbit does while you're asleep. So we've given them a D, overall grade D+. It's just a D. I mean, we're being very generous. Shows interest in helping people, does not follow through, easily distracted. That's it for the healthcare system. Not good. Very generous with the D. Now let's look at housing. More of the same. Similar grade, D+. We're being very generous, but remember, this is like a primary school style report. We don't really, you don't be too harsh on these children, or they'll be terribly disappointed and they won't learn, So housing is the class project that the government keeps decorating instead of actually finishing. We got charts, we got infographics, we got slogans, an affordable housing pathfinder strategy, and a ribbon cutting ceremony for 2.5 houses in County Wicklow. But the actual number of people housed, still nowhere close to what was promised. We saw record numbers of people in emergency accommodation, young couples still living at home, a generation renting forever and ever and ever, and investors buying up estates like Pokemon cards. How do they get bought up a lot? I suppose they do. The comment on this section essentially writes itself: tries hard to look like they're trying hard. And that just says it all. Presentation counts, but at some point you have to actually build the houses that you keep talking about. The government here, as we said, D+, strong imagination in this child, weak construction skills, and ability to actually do the thing that they're imagining. Right, onto the asylum system. I mean, has there been a bigger story in 2025 than the whole immigration asylum system? I've got two grades here. I'm as confused as the government are. F+ does not play well with others. Overall grade. Oh, I see what I've done here. So the overall grade is always D+. For asylum system, it's F+. Does not play well with others. I even confuse myself. So yeah, the asylum system. The F+, it's a rare grade. Technically a fail, but with extra credit for just keeping us all on our toes. The asylum system was this year's biggest governance disaster. Centres overcrowded, conditions deteriorating, people, many fleeing conflict, placed in accommodation unfit for purpose and in places where the people did not want them. And then came the contracts. The companies appearing out of nowhere, the money flowing out, but oversight missing. And there was one name that kept bubbling up, Jeffrey Leo. He's a big friend of the show. We covered him extensively this year. His bid to secure asylum centre contracts, the High Court case, the 60 million in disputed assets, the missing money, and of course, our co-presenter, Al, his past dealings with them, which turned out to be a cheat sheet for spotting red flags. And yeah, somehow companies linked to this world of chaos get close enough to public contracts to be taken seriously, and also getting those public contracts and our money. This is like allowing the boldest boy in the class to run the tuck shop because he told the teacher he'd probably behave and not steal things like the last time, possibly. Insists everything is robust while everything is on fire. F+ is the grade, astonishing in its ambition, catastrophic in its execution. That is it for the asylum system. Let's look at corporate oversight. Not good, as you can imagine. I mean, you can just possibly guess what I'm going to say about all of these. There's my corporate oversight slide. F, always looking the other way. Too busy chatting to the lad beside him. Look, corporate oversight. 2025 was the year Irish people really asked, who exactly is minding the shop? But also, like, what does the shop sell? And why is the shop there? And why are they charging me so much? And where are my goods? Between VC-backed failures, state-funded startups collapsing, the Leo case, as we mentioned, Mesh's taxpayer-backed investment, and ongoing questions about Enterprise Ireland's vetting processes, and also Enterprise Ireland's ability to actually do anything other than spend our money, gamble with our money. It became clear that the government still doesn't know how to tell the difference between a good pitch deck and a work of speculative fiction. One official speaking off the record described the oversight system as a trust-based model which works well, except in cases where trust is misplaced. Ah, yes. The only flaw in the trust-based model, human beings. To be fair, there were some improvements, a recognition that parent companies should face more scrutiny, more talk about transparency, more talk, always more talk. So, yeah, C- shows interest, must stop being the soft touch of the playground. Not a good year for corporate oversight. F I have here, and then I wrote D-. in my script. So let's stick with the F. Public accountability. Let's have a look at public accountability. As you can guess, not great on the whole public accountability front. This was a tough year for truth. We saw delayed responses, repeated statements of no recollection, committees that revealed very little, press briefings that explained even less. Here on MOTH, we repeatedly asked, why is transparency treated like a luxury item when money goes missing, whether in a startup collapse, a care home scandal, a hospital project that's over budget by the GDP of a small island? Accountability should be the first response, not the last response. You shouldn't be forcing governments into taking accountability. This should be something they do every day. A memorable moment of this year came from a TD who said during a committee hearing, we must strike the right balance between transparency and operational efficiency. I mean, translation, we prefer not to answer the question, but this idea of striking the balance between transparency and operational efficiency, transparency and operational efficiency should happen at the same time, in the same place, with the same person and the same organization. It's not one or the other. Why can't you be transparent and efficient? I don't really understand it. I don't expect anybody else does either. So yeah, we're looking at a D- for public accountability. Has potential but avoids responsibility, needs supervision, and that's giving it kind of giving it a pass. Being very kind indeed. Let's look at the cost of living. I mean, it's just, I mean, overall, it's just not looking good for our government, as you can imagine. Cost of living, D+. Ooh. I mean, you got to be happy with that, surely. Inflation cooled, but the pain didn't. Groceries continued to sting. Energy bills remained unpredictable. I tell you what wasn't unpredictable. It was very predictable, was the amount of money that the energy providers, those companies, the amount of money they're making, very predictable in their growth, a lot of money. And they're making a lot of money while saying they need to increase the bills. And families still described Ireland as impossible, unsustainable. And my favorite, Ireland was described as a financial escape room. Absolutely brilliant. Nail on the head. Hats off and a round of applause to whoever said that, a financial escape room. The government often responded with small schemes, €100 credits, rebates, which helped for about a week until the price of everything went up again. Yeah, we've given them a D+, supportive vibes. The vibes are supportive, very weak outcomes. Vibes are supportive, full stop. Monitoring the situation closely instead of fixing it. Just, yeah, continue to monitor the situation. Absolutely fine. Let's have a look at infrastructure. I've written, what have I got here? D-. Cannot finish projects, needs project management support. Literally your job is to finish projects and be the project management support. Project management support should be built in. The National Children's Hospital was meant to be a jewel of 2025, although I think even at 2025 it was way later. That was just, you know, it was supposed to be done in 2025, definitely 2025. I mean, that date has been pushed out again. Instead, it's become a recurring character on MOTH News, a tragic, hilarious, never-ending character. Every deadline slipped, every cost overran, every update made less sense than the last. A parent this year summed it up beautifully by saying, my baby was born after the hospital was announced. My baby is now in secondary school. So there's a person, a child, who possibly should have been able to use the children's hospital that will be an adult by the time it's finished. Also, transport projects were equally wobbly. Bus connects delayed. Metrolink drifting towards myth. Metrolink. What a beautiful, beautiful dream that was. I was like, it was as if the government just took a load of psychedelics and had a conversation. recorded the conversation, listened back and said, oh, what kind of nonsense were we talking? We don't understand any of that. And then destroyed the recording and said, we'll never speak of that again. Metrolink. Road projects postponed, and the overall grade, D-. Cannot finish projects, needs project management support. I mean, it's literally your job. Literally. So let's just try and gather ourselves, our thoughts and our notes, see if we can give them an overall grade. Yeah, well, there we D+ overall. I mean, that's very generous. I don't know why I've been so generous. And then now I'm just saying that's very generous. So the government's 2025 performance, let's just say it was energetic, it was ambitious, it was enthusiastic, it was occasionally competent, rarely, frequently confused, that would be the psychedelics, and sometimes just missing in action entirely. I mean, the D+, not a total fail, not a disaster. It is a disaster. It's been a disaster, but certainly not what a country with Ireland's talent, resources, and imagination deserves. Shows potential, but keeps outsourcing homework and losing big sums of money. Must focus, stop making excuses, and finish projects. That would be the teacher's notes on the overall report card. A year of contradictions, a year of revelations, a year of, wait, what? Moments. If nothing else, it reminds us why independent journalism and independent voices like yours matter. I'm Keith Walsh. This is MOTH News. If the report cards go home today, there's going to be tears at the dinner table, isn't there? You'll be grounded for the whole of Christmas. No PlayStation. Santa Claus might not be coming to your house if you're in the government. That's it for me. See you in 2026. Keep hoping. You know, keep the chin up. Remember, it's only news. But the reality, yeah. I feel bad even saying that. It's so bad. Enjoy your Christmas. And yeah. Stay in touch. I don't know. Let's be friends.